on the Marion-Tamaqua game?
It was huge. Like the kids mentioned, it's a big game to begin with. Then they have everything riding on it from, first time being 10-0 since, I think, 1927. First championship since 1962. So, obviously there was a lot at stake going into that game, not only it being, crosstown rivals. So, I mean, it was huge. And, it was kind of like, a dream season, which kind of ended up, regular season that ended with the way it probably should. All kind of culminating into that last game.
You, as a coach, you've been there, about 4 years, right? 6 years. 6 years.
Yeah.
You've kind of gotten this team to the point where, okay, you're supposed to be in the playoffs every year. Talk about where you see this program at this point now, a handful of seasons into your tenure of being a, perennial playoff team now.
It's 4 out of the last 5 we were in. And we mentioned when we took over the program as a staff that was our goal, to get into meaningful games at the end of the year. Obviously, our ultimate goal was to win a championship, and this is the first team that was able to do that. So, I mean, that was big for us. We mentioned that. That was our goal, was to win a championship, and these kids did a good job and finished the season off with a championship. Obviously, we try and emphasize it to the underclassmen, and they mentioned it before, what it takes to actually get there. And, you don't win it in, not just November. You start doing that in January when you start in the weight room, or December.
Let's talk about the team. We met 3 of the excellent seniors here tonight. Talk about some of the other guys who stepped up for you. First of all, offensively this year.
Offensively, senior-wise, Tyler Quill ended up having a big year for us. Luke Manfredo, he's obviously an offensive lineman, 3-year starter. He did a great job for us through the course of his career, and definitely this year he's kind of like our anchor up front. Defensively, obviously the guys that you saw, Tyler Quill's another guy that made about 6-7 interceptions for us on the defensive side. Nolan Ziegler, he's been a big part of our defense. He's kind of our crazy man on defense. He kind of makes everything happen over there, and you can't go without mentioning Nick Hollenbach at nose guard. Nick, I think he ended up with 15 sacks, broke another school record. He did a great job on the inside for us. He said, if you have a lot of underclassmen that stepped up for us, Nate Edmonds, I got to mention Derek Vandermartin. He was a big kid for us at defensive end. Great pass rusher. He's a kid that just, you look at him, he doesn't seem like he should be able to do what he does, and he did a great job for us. He's a tall, kind of string bean kind of kid, but just a tough, hard-nosed kid. And that was kind of the defense that we played. We were small, undersized, but kids played above themselves.
It also seemed like this team did what they had to do, whether it was, all right, now we have to pass for big plays. Now we have to run for big plays. Against Marion, we were kind of joking. You sort of circle the wagons in that second half and pound it away until you can get the big one. How great was it to be able to do so many different things that if one thing got shut down, you had a couple of others that you could go to, and vice versa?
Definitely. I mean, if you looked at our offensive stats, they were definitely much improved from past years. And, I think a big part of that was us being able to throw the football. And that's being able to throw the guys like Tyler Crow, like I mentioned before, Dustin Vandermartin, who had a big year for us, almost 500 yards receptions. And obviously, you got to mention Dalton, who had about 500 yards receptions for us. Now, obviously, with the kind of offense that we run, when we can hit those play-action passes, especially when teams load up the box on us, they kind of open up a lot more stuff for us. And that's a credit to Nate Edmonds, too. Right? Going into the last game, I don't think there's a guy around that had a better efficiency rating than Nate did.
What's next for this team? An awful lot of very good seniors are going. How do you keep this going into next year and beyond?
Like they mentioned before, we have a good core of young guys coming around. Set of Scripco twins who played for us throughout the course here on both sides of the ball. As well as Kashulik, Tank Murphy, guys that played a lot for us through the course of the year, and they're worker kids. So I said we always emphasize that the hard work's going to get you to wins, come October, November. And I mentioned it last year. We had a team that made it to the Eastern Conference Final. Our goal was to carry over where we left off, and much like that, if we finished with a championship, lost a tough game in districts, but we want to carry over where we left off this year.
What are you going to do? What's that next step for this program now, and how do you get there?
Like I say, we just keep on staying the course. Keep on doing what we're doing. I think that our guys realize that certain positions you got to get bigger and stronger at to be able to compete. Once districts comes, and I mean, not that we didn't compete. I thought we did a pretty good job up to about the third quarter where they kind of wore us down. But I think our goal is just to continue to improve.
Then the league was so good. It's been so good the last couple of years. You get another year the way it is, but in 2 years you're going to bring in Blue Mountain. You're going to bring in Lehighton, and the league gets bigger. Talk about the league and how good it's been and what its future seems to be for you guys.
It's always very competitive. I'm kind of excited as well as I think a lot of other people. Unfortunately, we didn't have Lehighton on our schedule this year due to scheduling conflicts. But, that's always a big rival for us, and we'll be anxious to get those guys back on our schedule. Blue Mountain will bring, a little bit of diversity into the league. And plus, it's going to bring a couple bigger schools into the league, which, especially for us, you always talk about points. If we go 9-1 at times or 8-2, there's a chance that we may not make districts. But, with those other schools, and, it probably will help us out with our point total. As well as, like I said, it's going to be nice to be able to just have a full league where you don't have to worry about scheduling. And nothing against those teams, but like the Anvil, Cleonas, or the teams that have an open date. I think there'll be a little bit more interest with Lehighton and Blue Mountain.
Finally, it was an awful lot of fun up on Stadium Hill this year. How was it for you and the guys?
It was awesome. The way the town came around, if you drove through town, you saw blue and white throughout the course. Like the kids mentioned, you go in the restaurants, you got people from the 1962 class, talking to you and saying, I hope you guys beat our record. Congratulations. Actually, one game this year we had guys that played at George Barron, some other guys that played on that 1962 team. I got to mention my grandfather coached on that 1962 team. So, it was great to, have those guys come around and give us support. And, I said it was fortunate. I said the kids had a great year. You can't take anything away from them. I think they'll always remember that Marion game and winning the championship.
Well, congratulations on a great season. Best of luck as you head to the off season to get another one next year.
Thanks for having us on, Buck.
All right. Sam Bonner, head coach of the Tamaqua Blue Raiders. We thank Sam and his guys for joining us. We thank all of you for joining us as well here on the Monday Evening Quarterback. That'll do it for this week. For everyone here at Blue Ridge, I'm Bob Capasso. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on the Monday Evening Quarterback.